During the pandemic, a third grader wore a mask to school that said, "Jesus loves me," but she was told by the school that she could not wear it. This happened in the Simpson County School District in Mississippi. Her family sued and they won. And joining us this morning is Lydia Booth, along with her mother, Jennifer Booth, and Alliance Defending Freedom Legal Counsel, Logan Spina. Good morning to you all. Thanks for joining us this morning. Lydia, I want to start with you first. This happened when you were just in third grade. I want to know what happened here and how did it make you feel when you were told you couldn't wear your mask?
When I was told I couldn't wear my Jesus Loves Me mask, I was very sad because Jesus is the main part of my life, and I was very confused because why would they go for Jesus Loves Me instead of other stuff?
And Jennifer, as a mom, you knew your child's rights, you knew your rights. What happened when you contacted the school about this?
Well, it just kept getting escalated up all the way up to the superintendent, and they ended up like reinforcing and actually changing the policy to ban the religious speech on the mask.
So this actually escalated. This actually escalated even further than that. All religious expressions, nothing of any kind of, no religious symbols. How did the school's actions affect you, Lydia? How were you singled out at school?
Well, my principal, she walked into the room, she winked at me and came to my desk and said my name, and then she left the room.
Yep. And that's when they removed it and made her swap it out.
And Logan, I want to bring you in because I'm just curious, how is this any different than if she were to have worn a cross or a T-shirt that stated "Jesus loves me"? How did the school justify this?
It's not different, and that's really why the school was unable to justify it. They had no pre-existing rule that actually prohibited her from putting something like "Jesus loves me" on her mask. That's her personal expression. She's free to express her religious views in the context of school. They allowed masks that had other things like sports teams messages or even a Black Lives Matter mask. So students were allowed to express their own views, but they directly discriminated against Lydia because of her religious views. And the Constitution says school officials cannot do that.
And Alliance Defending Freedom filed a lawsuit on behalf of Lydia in November of 2020. Just this past week, the school agreed to stop discriminating against her and all of their students, for that matter, for any of their religious views. What did they say in the settlement?
So they said what you just pointed out. They agreed that the school has to do what the Constitution demands of all of our public schools, and that's respect the religious views of their students and not engage in viewpoint discrimination. And then the school also agreed to pay a certain amount of money in attorney's fees as federal laws require when government officials violate people's civil rights.
And Lydia, you are now in fifth grade. I have a fifth grade daughter as well, so I know how challenging it can be sometimes with other students and perhaps teachers without anything like this happening to begin with. That school is now front and center and on the national stage because of all this. How are you treated during this, and how is it now for you at that same school?
A little story. So, we made some Jesus Loves Me mask, and I gave it out to my my whole entire class. And also, kids have been saying they've been seeing me on news.
And how does that make you feel?
It's very nervous, but I'm also, on the other hand, also proud of myself too.
You know, a lot of students would have just changed their mask and not said a word and just gone on with their day-to-day school there. What advice would you give to other students whose rights are being violated at school, who feel like they can't speak up and that no change will come if they do? What advice would you give them?
That Jesus loves us all, and if you have a belief that you have the right to share it to anyone.
Well, congratulations on winning the lawsuit. I know someone has to get to school soon. I think I'm looking at the time right here. So Lydia and Jennifer Booth and Alliance Defending Freedom Legal Counsel, Logan Spina, thank you all for joining us this morning on the National Desk. Have a great weekend. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.